ang Anti-Terrorist Act po. Ito po nagiging kontrobersyal. Ito pong proposed Anti-Terrorism Act. Bakit po kontrobersyal ito? Sapagkat nga po, kung titignan nyo, maganda naman po ang layunin para sugpuin ang mga terorista. Sino ba naman ang aayaw dyan? Kaya lang, sa pagpapatupad po, may mga probisyon na labag sa saligang batas at kung matupad, ay baka makapinsala po o ma-prejudice ang ating mga karapatan at kalayaan bilang mga mamamayan.
She is the Vice Chairperson for Tourism and Women and Gender Equality and the member for the Majority for Appropriation, Economic Affairs, Foreign Affairs, and Visayas Development. I'd like to give the floor to enlighten us on the Anti-Terror Act of 2020, our Congresswoman Lucy Torres Gomez.
Actually, it's not yet an act now because the President has yet to resign it. But I'd like to take this chance to thank the local government unit of Ormoc, headed by Mayor Richard, for lending full support to the bill. This is one of the most contentious bills that we've had to tackle in the House. And for a while, I thought it would be best to just stay silent because we voted on it already, and then we all knew the process that it went through. But as I was looking at the rage or the anger in social media and the reasons why people were enraged and angered, it was obvious that it was coming from a sense of fear because of misinformation. So, as the elected representative of the 4th District of Leyte, yes, I am not a principal author of the bill, but I know that what was out on social media was not what we debated on the floor. A lot of it was based on fear, not on facts. And in a democracy, my stand is yes or no, it's okay, but let's level the discourse on facts, not misinformation. We really need an anti-terror bill because the Human Security Act of 2007 had no teeth. And I think our friends from the military are the biggest defenders of this because you are on the ground, you know what it's like. So many of those who have been convicted were convicted on articles under the revised penal code. So terrorist act na, but even the police are afraid to really bring them to justice on account of terrorism. Now, as far as fears are concerned about, kaya ang ilang akong ipedal pirmi sa social media is, you cannot anymore express dissent. It's unconstitutional. What are their other accusations ba? And then they try to level activism with terrorism, which should not be the case because terrorism is such a grave and destructive act that you cannot strip it down and make it insignificant by liking it to wearing a cap with graffiti or expressing dissent against the government. So diha pa lang, we have to read the bill with the right target in mind, and we have to also make sure that we not just read the bill, but we understand it. And we comprehend it, not in parts, but the provisions as a whole, to be fair, no? So, and then they will quote their lawyers. They will say, but my lawyer friend said that it will violate the Constitution and human rights. We can go into an endless debate about this, lawyer against lawyer. What I want also that, what the detractors or those who are keen on peddling wrongful information must know, is that when this bill was heard in committee hearings, right even before it reached the plenary, sa sugod pa lang sa kinabuhi of any measure taken in the House, all stakeholders are already invited to give their position paper. So, present diha ang human rights, the judges, the lawyers. So, we can go into endless debate about who is right, whether lawyer defending the bill, another lawyer protesting against it. But in the end, we have the Supreme Court to decide. So the bill now is in the hands of the President. It was certified as urgent. On the part of the House, we did our part. We threshed it out on the floor. And to answer accusations also of why pass a bill like this at a time of COVID. Remember, terrorists will not give us a holiday just because we are vulnerable. Terrorists will not say, uy, di na nato sila igun, uy, kay di-COVID, na ba yung taon na sila? No. The enemy will always attack when we are at our weakest. There is no perfect time, there is no perfect law, we only have now. No, so we must act now. The very valid fear that the law can be abused, tinuod, that is not unfounded because we have seen through the years, even before the term of President Duterte, even before the term of President Aquino, we have seen how the law has been abused. Can you think of any law that cannot be abused in any way? And all the lawyers in the group said, theoretically, all laws can be abused. So we cannot shoot it down, we cannot shoot needed legislation on that basis alone because if pirmi lang taingon ana, tingalig maabuso, wala na gyud tay mapasa nga balaod and we will be a lawless people, we will live in a lawless country. That is why every law, having said that, that is why every law has safeguards in place to prevent as much as possible abuse. Nya safeguards in place for both the accused and the possible offender. It works both ways. That is why also laws have to be revisited because we cannot foresee intervening circumstances. We do not know how it can be abused in the future. We do not know how the terrorists think. So it will have to be revisited, either to be amended or repealed. So that is we are doing our parts as citizens. No, in the legislature we craft the laws, and then executive they implement. I ask for the support of this bill. For those who are against it, I ask that you read and comprehend it and see the value of the bill. Because now, yes, wrongful arrest is a possibility, but then we have to weigh which risk weighs heavier on the Filipino people. Wrongful arrest, but the one arrested still has legal recourse, or terrorism. Kaya karon man gud sa atong balaod, there is no preventive mechanism in place. It is all reactive. So it's like saying, kay moingon man sila dili because kinahanglan ko no innocent until proven guilty. That does not work for terrorism because by that time na-detonate na ang bomb, na anay nibuto, na anay namatay. So gaplano pa lang, nakakita pa lang, napay science na nakakita na naanay terrorist funding, naanay financing, nagplano pa lang, putlo na. Ang kaning kaaway, di gyud nimo ang angon, tinudon gyud nimo. Kaya kung di nimo tinudon, maunahan man ka. Okay? So, God bless our men in uniform. The bill is up to, it's in the President's desk now. It's up to him to veto or not. In 30 days from the time it was given to him, it will lapse into law. And in the end, it is the Supreme Court who will decide whether or not it is unconstitutional. But on the part of the House of Representatives, we have done our job. Thank you.
Sabi po ni former Justice Antonio Carpio, incidentally, fraternity brand po natin to. Katunayan, in-initiate ko pa ito, junior brand ko ito. Sabi niya, hindi na kailangan ng martial law kapag napasa natin ang terror bill. Kasi kinukot niya itong si Lacson. At agree daw siya kasi pag ito raw ay naging batas, nako, mas masahol para daw to sa martial law. Ito naman si Justice Tony. Oh. Meron pa siyang binabanggit. Paano? Yun, inulit niya na naman yung kanya pong opinion, pareho rin ng IBP, na tinanggal natin daw dito sa bill yung authority ng court na mag-issue ng warrant at siya ang magdidetermine na may probable cause. Paulit-ulit na nga akong sinabi, wala akong sinasabi yun sa batas. Ang pinagpipilitan kasi nila, may nakalagay kasi doon yung previous authorization in writing. Yung pong previous authorization in writing refers to Section 17 in relation to Section 16. Na ang sinasabi doon, kung gusto mong mag-surveillance o kaya mag-wiretap, punta ka muna sa IATF, humingi ka ng permiso na pumunta ka sa Court of Appeals. Pag nakuha mo na yon, ang Court of Appeals naman, papakinggan ngayon yung application ng DOJ. At pag nakita nila na meron namang basehan, bibigyan ngayon ng order na pwede ka ng mag-surveillance, mag-wiretap, makinig sa mga pinagsususpetsahan mong terorista. Yun po ang tinutukoy ng Section 29. Hindi po yung mismo ang IATF ang magbibigay ng order. Kaya, hindi po totoo na tinanggal yung kapangyarihan ng judge na magdedetermine ng warrant. Kasi pag meron na pong ebidensya, yung ahente na nakakuha ng kautusan na magsusurveillance siya at magwa-wiretap, o di ibig sabihin meron na siyang ebidensya, at pag meron na siyang ebidensya, yun ang tinatawag na warrantless arrest. So hindi po totoo yung sinasabi ni Justice Antonio Carpio at ng IVP. Hindi rin po totoo yung sinasabi niya na meron pa daw house arrest. Meron ngang house arrest, pero ang magdi-decide nun, ang hukuman pa rin. Kasi ang palagi po nilang sinasabi, walang judicial intervention. Meron palaging judicial intervention. Kahit yung sinasabi niya, yung Anti-Terrorism Council can designate terrorist organization. Hindi rin naman po totoo yun. Ang meron pong sinasabing without prejudice to proscription. Ibig sabihin, magdidemanda ka pa. Pupunta ka pa sa Court of Appeals. Sino ang pupunta ron? Ang DOJ. Sa rekomendasyon ng IATF, ng Anti-Terrorism Council, at rekomendado naman ng NICA, National Intelligence. Madalit sabi, palagi pong merong court. At sinasabi doon na, mas worse. Sabi niya, pag martial law po, di ba, merong suspension ng privilege of the writ of habeas corpus. Dito wala eh. So, you can, ang dami yung remedyo, gaya ng binanggit natin sa inyo. First day pa lang na ikaw ay hinuli, pag sa tingin mo wala namang basis, o titakbo ka, hindi naman suspendido ang privilege of the writ of habeas corpus. So you can go to the Supreme Court and file a petition for a writ of habeas corpus directing the police officer to explain in court the legal basis for the arrest and detention ng petitioner. Number 2, pwede ka rin tumakbo sa Korte Suprema, mag-file ka ng petition for a writ of amparo. Number 3, pwede ka rin mag-file ng petition for bail. Kaya marami po marami ang remedyo. Hindi naman papayag ang Kongreso na magpapasa ng batas na lalabag sa saligang batas. Kasi pag dumating sa Korte Suprema, sino ba mapapaya? Hindi sila rin, sila mga nagpasa. At kung si Presidente naman, na pinirmahan niya, yung pala, labag din sa ligang batas, hindi mapapaya din. Hindi gagawin yun. Diyan po sa Kongreso, marami ding mga abogado dyan. Nandyan si Senador Drilon, Senador Tolentino, mga abogado po ito. Siyempre, sinusuyo din nila yan. Hindi naman basta makakapasa yan. Not only that, yung pong mga nandyan sa Kongreso, yung mga pumirma din, may mga abogado rin doon. Of course, meron ding mga abogadong kumukontra. Pero sa tingin po natin, they were misled. Kasi nga, ang palaging sinasabi nila, may previous authorization in writing. May dati. Hindi nga yun yung previous authorization in writing. Yun yung binigay ng Anti-Terrorism Council dun sa ahente na pumunta doon sa Court of Appeals. Yan namang sinasabi mong designation, without prejudice, dadaan ka pa rin sa proscription. Kaya yung pong mga takot, mga apprehension, misplaced. Wala pong batayan. Tandaan nyo, yung pong bill nito, ang pinupunto lang nito, tinatarget nito, ay yung mga terorista na ang kanilang layunin ay pumatay, sirain ang struktura ng ating lipunan, i-intimidate ang gobyerno, sirain ang mga ari-arian. Palagay ko hindi na po natin kailangan na ilarawan sa inyo kung paano nila sinira yung World Tower sa New York. Pati yung sa Marawi, kung ang dami ho. Hindi sila namimili ng lugar. Kailangan talagang tayo magkaroon ng isang batas na tutugon sa kanilang uri ng pagsalakay at pagsira sa buhay at ari-arian ng kahit na anong bansa. Tandaan po ninyo, sa batas natin, sinasabi doon, hindi kasama rito yung advokasya nyo. Kung meron kayong paniniwala na programa na gusto nyong ilathala o i-advocate sa publiko, pwede ho yun. Gusto nyo mag-demonstrate, pwede pa rin yun. Gusto nyo mag-rally, pwede pa rin yun. Pwede kayong magwelga. Wala akong pagbabawal doon. At saka, gaya ho ng binanggit na po natin, kung maaari lang yung mga kritiko, huwag nyo nang pagpilitan na tinatanggal yung judicial power. Klarong-klaro na nga yung Section 45. Sinasabi niya nga, nothing in this act will be misconstrued to mean that the ATC is being given judicial power or anti-judicial, or rather, quasi-judicial power. Para nga, maging klaro na, teka, baka mali ang basa nyo rito, akala nyo binibigyan ng kapangyarihang juridikatura. Hindi, sinasabi na ngang hindi. At saka, alam po nyo kasi, ang napag-aralan namin sa College of Law, na maaaring nakakalimutan ng mga kasama natin, pag nagbabasa kayo ng provision, kailangan ang pagbasa nyo, not in isolation, pipick up lang kayo sa ng provision, bibigyan nyo ng meaning. Kailangan i-relate nyo, gaya nga ng sinabi natin, yung Section 29, i-relate nyo sa Section 17, Section 16. Lahat yun, pati sa Section 45. Hindi lamang po yun. Kailangan, pag nagbasa kayo ng batas, yung magbibigay ng efficacy o yung effective. Kunin nyo yung ang layunin talaga ng batas na ito ay para tugunan ang panganib na nakaamba sa ating lahat dahil dito sa terorismo. So, sana po ay yung ating mga kasama dyan sa abogasiya, pakibasa nyo ulit. Tingnan nyo, huwag naman kayong madala sa bias o prejudice nyo kay presidente o sa administrasyon o sa mga nandyan sa administrasyon, ayaw nyo, kaya sumasama na rin kayo sa pangontra.